Don't forget to check out and order your copy of our latest book, Stiff Arming Football Myths. You can find these available both in paperback and PDF form on our website at footballgameplan.com/books.
The Football Game Plan's Talking with TD. I'm your host, Teron Davenport.
Okay, Talking with TD. This might as well just become the wide receiver show because that's what I continue to bring you guys. I can't help it. I love the position. And we're going to bring in a guy that he's flying under the radar, and I'm not sure exactly why, because he brings everything to the table that you want in a receiver. We're going to bring in Maryland wide receiver Stefon Diggs. Stefon, what's good with you, man?
Hey, thanks for having me on the show. I appreciate you having me.
No problem. It's a pleasure. And I just want to start right off. There's a quote that I saw, and it says, "I can tell you this. Get the ball in his hands, and he's a different kind of football player." That quote is from your position coach, Keenan McCardle. So I want to just touch on just the way that you've been able to progress as a receiver under a coach that gives you NFL-level coaching.
Well, to start off, I just thank him. And he was just a key part in my success that I asked him to be there on draft day, because he just really played a key role in how to be a receiver, how to be an all-around great receiver. There are no pats on the back. You got to earn everything you get. So he really instilled a lot in me with a short amount of time. We only had him for a year, football season. So I was blessed to have him, and I look forward to still continue working with him as much as I can.
Watching you at your pro day, you ran the routes really well. You caught the ball really well, and the thing that stood out to me was the way you were able to catch the ball despite the windy conditions. One of the catches in the end, you had to kind of reverse your field, so to speak. It was a 9 route, and you were able to bring it in. Can you talk about how you were able to catch the ball so well in those conditions and how you have to be able to do that in the league?
Well, that's part of what we did in practice. With Coach McCardle, he called it tracking the ball. You got to be able to track the ball, whether it's over the shoulder, whether you got to relocate it, and it's all about practicing it. Things that don't happen overnight. We actually practiced that over and over and over. And I did it before my pro day, before the combine, so I was prepared.
Your skill set as a wide receiver is actually pretty unique. You're a guy who has a running back background as well as obviously playing receiver. What is it that a team gets when they select Stefon Diggs in this draft coming up on Thursday?
You're going to get a dominant competitor, a guy who works hard, comes in every day to work, just like a business day. I treat it as a business. I handle my business accordingly. And you get a high energy, a lot of enthusiasm, positivity, and a guy that's just about his business.
I could definitely vouch for the high energy, man. That's one of the things I told you that I really liked about you at your pro day. You were there involved in everybody's testing, cheering on guys like Cujo, making the vertical jump and things like that. And I think that's outstanding because you don't always get that as a wide receiver. And me personally, when I look at receivers, I like the guys who have that dog in them, who have that alpha type personality. So you definitely bring that. So that's another plus. Before you got to Maryland, you were a very accomplished high school football player, 5-star recruit, as a matter of fact, number 2 wide receiver in the nation. You chose Maryland over schools such as Florida, USC, Auburn. I know I've seen over and over you said Maryland is a place that made you who you are. Talk about the importance of staying in the Maryland area and how you were able to help this program kind of turn things around.
Well, I felt like I didn't have to go to any other schools to accomplish my goals as far as grades, getting a good GPA, getting good academics, and getting good football. So I felt like I didn't want to go anywhere else, and I wanted to start something new. Not everybody was going home. Not everybody was staying home where I was from. Everybody was going out to different schools. So I actually wanted to do something different along with staying home with my little brother. Staying close to my family at that point in time was really important to me because we lost our father not too long ago when I was 14. So I wanted to continue to be a role model for my little brothers, give them something to look up to. If you're doing things the right way, they'll follow suit. So I was just trying to do things the right way, and I felt like Maryland was a good fit for me. And I had some mishaps there as far as injuries wise, but it all worked out for the better. It made me the man I am. It made me the hard worker I am, and I continue to get better each and every day because of the things I went through at Maryland.
And that's something that comes up, the injuries, and some people will use the lazy analysis and say, oh, he's injury prone and he's soft. Folks, there's nothing soft about this kid. I will tell you, Penn State, second quarter, lacerated kidney. Didn't come out the game, continue to play the football game. So that's the mental toughness that this guy brings to the table. That Stanford game is one of the games I really, really like that you had in your career. 10 receptions, 138 yards, 2 pancake blocks also. What was it going into that game? Yes, I look at that too, brother. What was it that made you want to come out and have that type of game? And in addition, was there anything as far as you believing that may have been your last game as a college player?
Well, going into that game, I was so ecstatic because I wanted to play way before then. You can ask any of my coaches, my trainers. It was like pulling teeth and getting me not to play because I wanted to play something. I felt like I was fine. You know, a lacerated kidney is one of those injuries that you don't really feel anything. Once it's healed, everything is inside, so you don't really know. But me, I feel fine. I want to go. So I was practicing that for like 2 months, practicing for pretty much a while, and then when I got my opportunity to come back on the field, I let it all out. I let all my emotions, I let my play speak for myself, and I just was happy to be back on the field with my guys, competing against another team, and just trying to be as good as we can be and put them in the best position possible.
So as far as scheme fits, I think that you could fit into multiple schemes. I think you obviously are a guy that could fit into a spread scheme. I think West Coast offense, you could run a slant route. You're known for your yards after catch ability. Is there any particular pattern in the teams that have spoken to you?
Nah, not as right now. I mean, I've talked to a lot of teams. I have no clue on where I'm going. But as soon as I get to that team or when my name gets called, that's when it all starts. That's when that new chapter goes, and I'm gonna be ready.
As far as feedback is concerned, what's some of the feedback that you're getting from the personnel folks that you're talking to?
A lot of good feedback as far as relationship-wise and the kind of player that I am and what I bring to the table. A lot of people are appreciating it and understand it to a T. You know, they do their homework just like anybody else, so they know exactly what they're getting out of me.
If you had to say one single trait that's your best trait, what would that be?
Just the will to win, that I'm going to win by all costs. I'm going to give it everything I got, no matter what, with the injury or with anything. I'm going to do everything I can to put my team in the best position.
10-inch hands. You obviously are able to puck the ball out of the air very well. Yeah. As far as playing inside and outside, this is something that I'm seeing a lot of receivers coming out similar size to you that are able to play inside and outside. And folks, when I say that, I'm talking about playing the slot position, but also being able to line up outside the numbers. This is another prospect that can excel at either position. So talk about your ability to do that. And when you're on the outside, talk about how you could beat press coverage, because that's obviously the big thing when a guy is playing outside the numbers and he's lined up on the line of scrimmage. You have a corner in front of you. You have to beat him. So let's touch on that part of the game of football.
As far as I spent some time outside, but I spent majority of my time inside. But I love the outside. I love being on the outside, just a match between quickness and being physical. You have to be able to do both at a high level when you play on the outside. When you're on the inside, you don't have to be as physical because they're a little bit off the line. You're off the line. But I like being outside, and I like what I can do on the outside because I didn't get to play it as much with the offense that we were in. I played the adjuster, so I played inside. But I love the outside and going straight for 9 balls and things like that, just because what it brings to the table when you can have vertical stretch with your team, it backs them up a little bit, so it opens up some other things. So I feel like I can do both at a high level.
You're in the NFL. Your first snap, you break the huddle. You got to line up outside. If you had to pick what corner you most anticipate going against, is there any particular one that stands out to you?
Nah, there's so many great corners in the NFL, especially at such a high level. You earn your job. I want to be able to go against every corner. Everybody wants every top guy because you're going to get the best out of you. That's your job. You want the best. And I feel like I'm gonna want the best, whoever it is, no matter whoever I line up against. I'm gonna want the best. So so many great guys. That I can't take nothing from anyone because at the highest level you earn your job.
At this point right now, a lot of comparisons fly. Not everybody got to see you play. So if you were to tell someone, a player that gives a snapshot of what you bring to the table, is there any wide receiver in the league that you would point to and say, hey, you want to know my style of game, this is how I play?
Now, it's hard to because there's so many great receivers. I used to love, like, Steve Smith. Some great receivers right now. Odell Beckham is one of the greater receivers right now. He's doing it at a high level, and he's a rookie. Calvin Johnson, but I'm nothing like I don't have the size of Calvin Johnson, but I love him as a receiver. And so many good receivers. Like I said, it's just endless. It's an endless amount of receivers. I try to steal something from everybody, so I just blame that on my game. I try to take something from everybody, even though you're not going to find the same body type as you. You can find techniques and people who are technicians of the game, see what they do to add it to yours.
Just in conclusion, you mentioned your coach is going to be with you as you go throughout the draft day, whether it's Thursday or Friday. What are you going to do? You going to have a big family party, or how are you going to set that up for the draft?
I'm going to have a gathering for my family both days, and everybody close to me, everybody who played a key part in my success. I feel like I owe it to them to be there because they did play a part. I did all the work, but without their guidance, I wouldn't be there. So I would appreciate if they all came, and I'm trying to make it work.
There you have it, folks. Stefon Diggs, wide receiver, University of Maryland. At his pro day, he did have a head coach there to see him work out, and that would be Bill Belichick. Stefon, thanks for coming on. I appreciate it. I love your game. I can't wait to see what you're able to do at the next level. Keep grinding, and I wish you the best.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on the show.
All right, now take care.
That wraps up this edition of Talking with TD. Be sure to check out all of my interview segments at footballgameplan.com/talkingwithtd. If you have any questions or people you want me to sit down with, hit me up on Twitter at @TDavenport_NFL.